Pick a card, any card. If it comes up Stephen Bargatze, you're looking at a joker and a king of dads. His unusual last name is now a household name nationwide, thanks to his eldest child, the superstar comedian he still calls Nathaniel.
I can call him Nate. We can call him Nathan now, but Nathaniel is who we are. The world has him.
Is that on
Nate.
his Christmas stocking, like
Nathaniel.
going down the side?
Yes, he'll say it, yes. And I think my wife's always still a Nathaniel, anything like that, but we can live with Nathan. I didn't want him to ever look back and go, I wish I'd have done that. I wonder what would have happened. So I said, you're young, free. Well, I'll help you. I mean, we'll help support you, do whatever we need to do, just so that I want you to make sure that you feel like you've given it your all.
Stephen Bargatze, the father, is every bit as clever as the son. He's been fine-tuning a magic act for decades and actually got his start as a clown. Fluffy wig, big shoes, all of it. That's how he raised a young family. But there is pain and perseverance in his story. And what you might hear come through most is pride, the kind a father has for his kids when they reach high and really fly. I'm Demetria Kalodimos. It's Banner and Company. I saw you perform the other night, and I was blown away. Why did I not know about you?
That's a great question, because I've known about you for a long, long time. And I've told you, I think, before, though, but when the Olympics was here, you actually were doing something on the street, and you interviewed my daughter, who was probably about 6, I don't know the exact, little. She had made a torch, and you interviewed her, and she made on the paper and everything.
Wow.
So we've known about you, my family has, grown up with you.
Well, that's wonderful. Full circle, I guess. First of all, let's talk about your last name.
Okay.
It's Italian, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I think the world has been mispronouncing it until recently, right?
Yeah. I think that we even probably mispronounced it. The original one was with a P and a Z-I, Bargatze, and there was no R at all. And so this is all stuff I've been told. But then they added the R and dropped the I and made it an E back maybe when it wasn't always great to be Italian. And so they came here, 3 brothers, and there still is some that have an I up north that still spell it that way.
Oh, really?
But it's kind of like Jimmy Fallon called Nate Bargatze or whatever wrong. And we just kind of had a meeting go, I guess that's our name now. And we just decided to go with whatever he said. So figured we wasn't all that stuck to it. But
and
it's Bargatze.
It means something too, doesn't it?
I don't know what did it. Did
I think it means little boat.
Did not know that. There you go. How did you find that out?
I got my ways. I do my research.
Maybe we came over on a little boat.
Maybe
I
so.
love that. I love that it means that. That is awesome.
You didn't have the world's greatest childhood, though. Tell us a little bit about growing up and the things you've overcome.
Well, I just, my wife always reminds me that I grew up when everybody had it kind of rough. Parents, they raised people differently and everything like that. But my mom had a troubled teenage and life, and she just had a lot of problems and stuff. And nobody as a kid, you don't understand that
right.
And everything. And so I just knew she didn't like me, and we just never really got along and stuff, and we fought all the time. And I felt like she hated me, and she probably just felt like I was just really mean and hard on her and stuff like that. It was just my way of trying to cope with that. But we just had a whole lot of problems, and I ran away. I tried to even take my life to hurt her when I was a teenager. And so it got really violent and stuff. I got beat up. They enough to had to have surgery from her pushing me down some steps and broke my collarbone and shoulder and everything. And but we were able to figure it all out. I mean, believe it or not, on the day before she died and stuff. I was so blessed. It felt like I'm talking about my mom so much. I ended up running away, and I didn't know this. I had no relationship with my dad much. He drank, was an alcoholic, and just struggled also sometimes dealing with her. And I found out after I tried to do my life, I ended up in a hospital, and he called Ronnie Bargatze, who was a Vanderbilt coach here in Nashville, and told him that I was in trouble and could he help me and help Ronnie. And I never knew none of this happened.
Really?
All I knew is not until my dad, till not long, Ronnie told me. And I just thought he just showed up one day. And I was kind of on the streets in Louisville. I kind of got out of the hospital and just went out and was finding places to go. And then all of a sudden Ronnie showed up, and I needed a place to go. So I said, all right, I'll go with you. And I came down here. And that's when everything changed. You know, he was a good Christian man. He had a great life. He had a wife, Melinda, and that was sent from God to me. I mean, she was the neatest. She taught me everything about life and how to be a person. I remember I lied to her one time about where I was at, and she cried. And I just remember going, just hit me, pick up something and beat me to death, and I'm fine, but don't cry. Don't make me feel, right. That was horrible. And I knew I would never lie to her again. And I never did and never would. And stuff. So she just showed me unconditionally love and to do it. And it just showed me how to be a husband and how to be things. I learned everything from her and Ronnie both in their lives. And if it wasn't for them, I always say people don't get the credit. There would be no Nate Bargatze if it wasn't for Ronnie and Melinda.
Was Ronnie a blood relation?
Yeah, he was great. My dad and his dad were brothers. And my dad helped Ronnie with sports, and Ronnie was a great sport, a great athlete, and my dad bought him his first glove. And so they were really close, but my dad, he had lost an eye in Korea and then started drinking and all that stuff, and they lost contact with each other, but kind of still enough to do that. And they would send me here every summer, and I kind of stayed with Ronnie and them as a kid. But I always felt like my parents were getting rid of me for the summer. So I came down here by myself, and my whole family would stay there, and did stuff. I remember, coming home, there'd be a big family portrait over the couch, and I'm not in it, and it was stuff like that. And they would do things like that to me all the time, and I wasn't smart. I was bitten by a bulldog. My dad had taken me into a bowling alley and accidentally let me go in the wrong door. He thought it was a nursery, but it was where guard dogs were. And it looked like they looked the same, but it was should have been locked. But I got in, and I don't remember nothing, but I was attacked and tore my face, my mouth, and part of my tongue is why I talk funny. And I kid around, but it's the truth. I had 6.5 years of plastic surgery, the kind that makes you handsome. And
yeah, it worked.
Yeah,
tremendous.
It worked great. I'm glad. It's hard to tell on the radio, but it is good. But I think they take skin from and rebuild the face. Most of mine is my butt, this part, and it looks great. But I do have bad breath. I have to deal with that a lot. But other than that, so I was the kid in school. I stuttered. And stammered, and I would get nervous when I had to read the sounds I just can't make, and so I would get really, really nervous, and then because of that, I was put in special ed, and I thought I was stupid, and just kind of gave up on school. They figured, oh, you're stupid, you're dumb. You're not. My brothers and sisters were very smart. I was also left-handed, and they wouldn't let you be left-handed, so they used to hit us and beat us. So again, as a kid, you don't think that it's okay to be left-handed. You think something's wrong with you.
Right.
And so it was just another thing that I thought was wrong with me. And so, I had to deal with kind of all of that. And but we're coming down here, and one of the deals with Ronnie is going to church and everything. And then, I accepted Christ pretty young at 19. And of course, it changes anybody's life and everything. And the first thing I did was to go home and to tell my mom she was going to hell, which is not a good thing to do. And so it just made, I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to share faith with anybody. And I just thought, you need to know this, and it's important. And because of that, that made our relationship even worse. So she couldn't even be around me. She didn't want to do anything. Thought that then she never really knew. Maybe met Nate a couple times. Never seen him perform or anything, or anything. Never seen me perform. Never been a part of any of my family. I got 7 grandkids, and she would come here and see my brother. Never walk down the road and come see my family. So I tried, but then at the end, God opened the door. She ended up with COVID, and she was passing away. And I always say that, I got into the hospital. And back it was 2020, they wasn't letting people in the hospitals, and you had to be on the list, and I wasn't on it. But I just remember going up there, and a new kid that just walked up, and I was first in line. It was really early in the morning. And he looked up, he goes, what's your name? And I said, Bargatze. And so he's looking, he goes, how do you spell it? And I go, like it sounds.
I like doing that to people too.
Yeah, you can do it way perfect. And he panicked, and somebody said something, and he just said, go. And I just remember thinking in the back of my mind, I just thought, look how good God is. I'm going to get to see my mom, and she gets to tell me she's sorry. That's what I thought. I'm sorry. And she can apologize before she dies for not knowing my family. I have a great family and great everything, and she never knew them. But when I saw her and the fear on her face and all hooked up to all of the stuff and everything, I knew that I had it all wrong. God took me to tell her I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And she needed mercy. My mom could have never done what I needed her to do. It was not in her to do that. She's been too broken, too hurt, and I needed to apologize to her. And I did. And I said, I'm sorry, I should have made you know my kids. Because you missed some great kids. I should have forced you to see them. I should have been around you more. I should have took care of you. I should have done all of this. And I was a jerk to her. I stole an automobile when I was a kid. That was part of the fight that I got into. She never made me do that kind of stuff. I'm the one that didn't do hard and work hard in school. I had 4.0s in college. I was never stupid. But when I was at school, I didn't do anything for her. I wouldn't do the work because it's easier to just think you're stupid. And so I just apologized for everything again. Then when I talked to her about, I said, we don't know each other, and I don't really know you that well. But if you just pray and accept Christ, and that we can have all eternity to get to know each other. And I believe in all my heart she did that. So, that's the full circle of all of that story. Sometimes it sounds so bad. It made me who I am.
Right.
And Melinda did too, and God and everything. It made our family who it is, and that we appreciate stuff. I don't regret, I regret that I couldn't help her more.
I'm Demetria Kalodimos. It's Banner and Company.
This is Jason Momoa, and I'll be your finance professor today. Welcome to Banking Smarter 101 with Chime. Bam! First lesson, sign up for Chime and set up direct deposit. You'll be joining millions of members banking fee-free. Second lesson, get cash back on eligible purchases while building credit and a higher APY on your savings. That's how you bank smarter this season. Fa-la-la-la-la, class dismissed. Join Chime today.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and a secure Chime Visa credit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. Details at chime.com/fees-info. With a qualifying direct deposit, earn 1.5% cash back on eligible secure Chime Visa credit card purchases. On-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Results may vary. APY means annual percentage yield. Learn about credit building and more at chime.com.
You for sure, at least America thinks and probably knows that you've been a tremendous father.
No, very kind, very kind.
You've raised some successful and wonderful kids.
I really have.
But
we have 3, not just Nate.
Right.
And each one of them, Nate does what I do at a way higher level than I ever did.
did you teach him?
No, just by being me, just around the house. And when Nathan was young, he did. I was a clown. I worked at Yo-Yo the Clown, and I worked at Opryland, some as a clown and also as a magician. And I would take Nathan on shows with me and dress him up. We got some great pictures of Nathan dressed up as a clown working with me. He would mess things up. He'd get but he was such a funny kid. He was so funny. He could remember Steve Urkel and Jim Varl, the milk guy with
Jim Varney.
Jim Varney.
Yeah.
Oh, Nathan could do him and loved him. We went Ernest Goes to Camp. I mean, we saw every movie he ever made, and we loved that man. And Nathan could imitate them and do it great. And but then, I mean, when he got in high school, he became the Nate we know. He got real quiet, and he became more just watching people and being more observant than he was trying to be that class clown. But if you see the Saturday Night Live first one, and he did a skit, again, because I love Hallmark movies, and I still do, so they made fun of Hallmark, did a Halloween one. Me and my wife, we saw the old Nate, because he got to play a part, and you saw that little smile when he was pretending to be a murderer or whatever it was. But it was like, there's Nate, there's the Nate, I know that Nate. But I also have another son who was a missionary in Uganda for it still works over there, and they work here at school, Global Outreach Development, GOD institution, and so he's doing what I always felt like I should do. When you first accept Christ, you think you got to be a preacher or something, and Abigail, my daughter, worked for the veterans, the VA hospital for years. That's what I love to do. I've done so much shows for the Armed Forces Entertainment, and so all my kids are doing things that part of my life and better than I ever did.
Well, I think that's the way it works. That's the way it's supposed to work anyway. And
your father owned a gas station, and you're doing this. That's the same.
It's very much the same.
You're working in a gas station.
Exactly. How do you become a clown? I mean,
yeah, great story. I had a teacher in one of my classes that was helping me to read. But what happened to me is I was in McDonald's. I had a teacher that showed me some tricks, and I liked it. But I was in McDonald's here, and the guy named Tom Hardy was a teacher at McGavitt High School. And he was Ronald McDonald. And Ronald McDonald had a magic show called Miles for Smiles, or it's a magic show, and they would do it in the parking lot of McDonald's. So I'm just at lunch one day, and he's out there, and he does a trick that I do today. And where you tear the newspaper up, you saw it. Mm-hmm. And I just remember going, how in the world? I said, no, he tore that up. And I decided I had time, I'll wait in line with a bunch of little kids. And I'm 17, 18 years old, and I'm just going to ask him. I wanted to ask how you do it, but I didn't do that. So I waited, and I didn't, sometimes I get bigger kids that want to know magic, and they'll get up there, and when I was a clown, they'd step on your toe and go, hey, boy, be mean. I'm not helping you. I'll go up to me and say, I know how you did all that. Well, would you tell me how you did all that? No. You be nice. And so I was very nice to him, and I just said, I don't know, your magic looked real. And I just said, do you have to be born to be a magician? Is that what I really didn't understand? He said, no, it's like you read books. And I just remember going, at that time, I had not gone back to school. And I just remember walking away. He goes, what's up? And I said, well, I'm not a good reader. And he goes, oh, man. And he goes, let me show you something. He showed me how to hide a card behind your hand, how to make it disappear. He said, I'll be at this McDonald's next week. Practice that and come see me. And so all week I just did it. And the next Saturday I'm there doing it. And again, because I was stammering and stuttering a lot back then, still, even at 18, if I got nervous, so he said, put the clown mark up. So when he did, if you look at Nathan's album, Yelled At by a Clown, you can find it. You will see me as a clown. It's probably illegally a whole lot Ronald McDonald because I was copying him. So I made my own wig, but I put the makeup on exactly like he did. So I would do it when he did it. I would get dressed and to do it. And it gave me the courage because clowns can talk funny. And it was okay to talk funny and be a clown. So I wasn't embarrassed. People would say, I love your voice. I mean, other clowns asked me how to do it, and I'd tell them, get a dog. And it's the only thing I know.
Get a mean dog.
And you can be just like me. But So it was really to do that, and that's what gave me, and Nathan kids about that. He says, how long do you want your dad to be a clown until you're about 12? When your friends start saying, does he still do that? And you say, no. But, and that's about how long. It just got to be, I always loved magic, and Tommy did too. And so I wanted to take the gloves off and to do that and do adult. So I would do clowning in the day, birthday parties, and at night I would do what you saw. And so I just started mixing it up until eventually I didn't need the clowning that much anymore. I could get away from putting the makeup on.
Did you ever work with animals and magic? I mean, you got to have a rabbit to pull out of the hat, or do you?
Yeah, they pee in that hat, and that hat's way more expensive than rabbits were back then and stuff. I just bought a new hat, and they're about $500. I'm not putting a rabbit in there. But I didn't work a lot, but I would rent rabbits. There was times
rent a rabbit?
Yeah, you didn't even know you could do that.
No.
There's a guy named Jay Luthi. He lives here, the great magician. He used to rent rabbits, for $5 a day or something. You could go get his rabbit, and they were already trained to do tricks. So that way I didn't have to feed them or anything like that. I never did birds or anything like that.
Yeah, the doves.
Yeah, no, I liked it. There was a great magician, Lance Burton. I don't know if you know Lance.
Yeah.
Is fantastic. Lives not far from, you should interview him, Kentucky. But Lance, I went to high school with him. I'm a little bit older than Lance, but him and Mike King, also from Louisville, and where we grew up. And there was one time on the Strip in Las Vegas, all three of us was on the Strip at the same time, and we grew up within 3 or 4 miles from each other.
Wow.
It was pretty crazy.
What's the greatest magic trick you ever saw?
Oh, God, I think there's a guy nobody never heard of named Del Rey. He was from Pittsburgh. I think he's probably the greatest magician I've ever seen, because he did magic way before anybody even had any idea what he would do. He was fooling everybody. Nobody had a clue. Today we know how he did it, but back then nobody knew. And when I was young and I first saw him, I had not a clue what he was doing or how he was doing any of the stuff. But he was extremely, extremely funny. And he made you laugh so hard the whole show, and as his magic was so strong. When I kind of grew up, there was Maiden Jonathan, and there was a couple other guys that did magic. They kind of... Carl Valentine, you remember? I don't know if you remember Carl. He used to be on McHale's Navy, but he made fun of magic. But it was very funny. I loved it. I'm not saying I didn't love what they did. I loved both of them. But they didn't really do tricks. All the tricks would not work. And I think that's really funny. But I wanted to be like Dale. I also wanted to be funny, but I wanted you to go, well, how did he do that?
Right.
Being fooled without even knowing it. And I don't like to be I'm the greatest in the world. I like it kind of happens, and I don't care, or I don't know why it happens either. It just happens. And it's almost like you're being fooled by an idiot. And so you have to go, I should be getting all of this stuff. He can't be that smart. That's the guy who I am.
You were telling me, though, that early on in clubs, they would have, and maybe they still do this, someone in the room counting the laughs?
Yeah. When I first tried to do comedy, back in the 80s, that's when comedy clubs were really jumping up everywhere. They were in bowling alleys, and they you can go anywhere, and they were doing it. And I worked all those B and C ones. I wasn't working the bigger name Funny Bones and all those ones that are out there. And comedy clubs kind of started with the show that called Make Me Laugh.
Right.
Where Make Me Laugh was such a popular show, people said, well, there's got to be business for this. So they started putting these clubs everywhere, and it was a big boom in it. But they were really big because Make Me Laugh was so fast, you had to do it. So when I first started, I would get in trouble all the time for not having enough laughs per minute. They say, you're doing, because you saw the show. What I do, a magician, you have to sign a card. You have to do this. You have to. There's process.
It unfolds. It's a story. Yeah.
But I always felt like my laughs. I'm not always, but I get harder and longer laughs and after laughs compared to the bam, 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 bam jokes. And if you listen to Nate doesn't do joke. Nate's a storyteller. And I love that kind of comedy, and I love Bob Newhart and Red Skeleton. Nathan grew up with those guys, and I see them in him. Nathan can laugh at himself like Red Skeleton used to laugh, and stuff. We watched all of that, so I think all of that is kind of neat. I don't think they care anymore like they used to. If you're funny, you're funny. But when it first started and it was a business for people, yeah, they didn't know what else to do but do that. Yeah, you had to have so many laughs per minute, or then you wasn't coming back, or at least you wasn't headlining.
Boy, he was sure lucky to have a dad like you, though, because you understood that this is not an overnight deal, that
Right.
you've got to put years and miles and a lot of work into this.
Right.
I mean, was he ever ready? Was he like, Dad, I'm over it. I'm done. I'm quit.
I really, I remember, I always believed in the 10-year rule that it would take 10,000 hours and all that stuff. And I knew it was not, it was really funny because once Fallon had him on, he'd been in it almost 8.5, 9 years when he went on there. And then all of a sudden he was overnight success. He got the Tennessee Kid, he got all this stuff. It all came at once. But he had 8 years of just going working for 3 or 4 people, going out there on the streets and doing that. So I always knew it. I remember him doing it, and what happened on us is he went to Western Kentucky, took some classes, and we got his report card in the mail, and he failed every class. And one of them was bowling. How do you fail bowling? And so I knew he wasn't going. He just went up there. He goes, I'm doing this. I'm thinking about doing comedy, and so I said, do it. Other people would say, well, no, go study, finish. No, I didn't want him to ever look back and go, I wish I'd have done that. I wonder what would have happened. So I said, you're young, free. Well, I'll help you. We'll help support you, do whatever we need to do, just so I want you to make sure that you feel like you've given it your all.
It's Banner and Company. And my guest is master magician, former clown, and dedicated dad Stephen Bargatze. Yes, that Bargatze. We'll be right back.
Seinfeld came out with the comedian. It was a documentary about how he wrote his jokes. And one of the things he said is you have to be in New York or somewhere where you can do up every night. That we had 1 or 2 places. And even today in Nashville, there's maybe about 3 or 4 that you can maybe get up in front of people every night. But up in New York is 6 or 8 different places you can go and get time. And so he went up there, and me and my wife helped him, I think, a lot. I think he still owes me money. But
You're keeping a tab.
Yes. I'm not saying, but it's getting to be now we're costing him money. But we had people looking after him. I knew enough people in the business and people that could just say, I didn't want him to be like bowling class and not showing up. But they said, no, I saw him on the street today. He was out there giving out the things to get the 2 minutes in this club or that club and stuff like that. So we saw a lot of success, and I saw him grow as a comedian, and we saw that, and we knew nobody could saw what's happening to him. Nobody saw that coming. I just wanted him to make a living and be able to do it. And I remember when he got married, he had just done the Comedy Central special and stuff, and he was just starting to do a little bit of headlining. He was doing that, and his wife's father asked me, he goes, how long is he going to do this? And when's he going to get like a real job? And I loved his wife's father. We just lost him. And John, and I remember he was a pastor of a church of about 30. And I wanted to say, he makes more in this weekend than you make in 6 months at that church. So he'll take care of her. And her brother is a pastor of a bigger church, and he went and saw Nate, and he went home and said, we don't have nothing to worry about. He's doing fine.
A lot of people talk about clean comedy, and it is clean, but was that a conscious decision, or is that just the way you grew up and the way you guys live?
It is definitely the way we grew up, and that's who we are. I once said, somebody asked me once, me and Nate was talking, I think, Good Morning America or something like that, and the guy said, if I hit you on the thumb with a hammer, what would you say? And then exactly, it's on tape, at the same time, me and Nathan went, dadgummit, and because that's what we would say. We don't, my wife, she'll hate me, she used to be a cusser when we were young. I never was a cusser. I don't know. My family and parents all were, but I just never did, and I never have. I could say most of my kids have never heard me say a curse word. They've heard their mother. But
well, 1 out of 2.
1 out of 2 is not bad. But it's not a part of our nature. It's not who we are. And Nathan was never that way. He would have to constantly do that. But and he was the best part. The one thing on the most part, he stuck with his guns, and I think that's why God is a blessed. And you talked about the clean. He never wanted to be called a clean comic in the beginning,
because that can be a double edge.
Yeah. Somebody would go, oh, he must only can work churches. He can only work here.
It's not funny.
Yeah. That's right. That's exactly right. So he just wanted to be comedy, and then when people leave, they go, well, I don't think he said any curse words, or I don't. He didn't talk about sex or politics or anything like that. So he was always going to be that guy because he wanted to be different. And what a great way to stand out. Can I make these people laugh and have a great time and not even realize that this is happening? And then later on, it became quite a deal where he has said, no, I'm sticking to my guns. Even with Saturday Night Live, they've asked him a couple of times to do things that he's felt uncomfortable with. And and good for him that he stood up and said, nah, I'd rather not do that. And I'm not going to do that. And they've been great and honor all that. But
does he ask your advice? I mean,
he'll call me on jokes now and just say, is this funny or anything like that.
What makes it funnier, or how can it be funnier?
Yeah. I used to help him a lot, not as much anymore. It seems like he's gone way beyond me. But I remember in the beginning that we had the calls a whole lot more, and there's some of the good jokes. Me and my daughter had. I don't know if you heard. There's a joke about a koi pond. We have an above-ground koi pond because we live here in Hermitage and Old Hickory. It's all on limestone. And so they got my wife a koi pond, and you had to dig a hole, and I dug for a week and didn't even get a half inch in the ground. I'm just going, I was moving rocks. And then Nathan came over, because Nathan won't tell a joke unless he's involved, actually did it. So he tried to dig, and with a pick and all this stuff. And I would never kill anybody because I could never bury the body. And so it started, and Nathan made a 5-minute bit about it, and it's fantastic because that's what he does. But sometimes he gets a lot of little things, even from us and our family. We'll say stuff, and he'll go, yeah, that is really funny, and I'll.
They're talking about digging a tunnel underneath Nashville.
I know. Good luck. He has no idea. Go look at the one on Bradley Parkway, that hole. They've been doing that for 40 years.
Where does he go from here? I mean, he keeps breaking records. You guys really have not, it sounds like, substantially changed your lifestyle. I mean, I didn't see you drive here in a limo. You don't have an entourage. You're still doing your act and doing it, I might say, for charity causes.
Still very much. We do both do a lot of charities. That's where my heart is. And, we're doing.
You just don't worry that much about the bills, right?
No. This is what changed with Nate and everything like that. To be able to have that freedom, and Nathan's helped all of us, and he's helped his brothers and sisters. He's got, in that part that I do feel like that my wife, maybe way more her, and Rodney did well with him. He's helped his family. He's understand that his blessing and his gift is for the whole family. And he has done that, and with his book deal and all of that, because you realize this is not his story; it's our story. It's the family story. And most of his jokes are about our family, or is an inward thing that we're doing, and he's never forgotten that. So.
So you guys get together for a holiday, and something happens, and you know that the world's going to hear about it eventually, right?
Yeah, and sometimes he calls us together because especially when he's working on a new hour, we know, hey, we're going on vacation. And we know why. You just want to get us all together. You're hoping that my wife falls or something, and she will. Something's going to happen. So we know when he needs material that we're all getting together soon.
Is it true, though, that you were his coach and you had to cut him off the team?
Oh, why would we bring this up every time? And stuff.
I can't imagine why.
It's
it wasn't funny.
It was not funny. It was at Donaldson Christian Academy, and I had just got hired on. And poor Nate. Nate was a very good ball player, a good athlete, and he was a good basketball player. If it was up to me, I thought he should have made the team, no doubt. And there was a lot of things happening, but with this, the coach there was 2 guys there, and I was going to be the 3rd assistant coach, and it came down between the 3 guys, and Nate was one of them, and so they asked me, and I go, I don't think it's fair and right that I pick because that's my son, so I won't. You 2 guys,
you recused yourself.
Yes, now that's not the way Nate sees it, but because he ended up not making it, and then I've never forgotten it. But if you watch his first Christmas special that came out last year, I was on that special, and he cut me. So I never made it. You see me at the end walk out, but my scene got completely cut. So we are even. And worse, he has nothing. Nothing. I don't owe him anything anymore.
Are you a performer till the day you die?
I hope so. I really do. But you know what? I can remember always growing up I used to think if I won the lottery, I would buy a place and just do shows. But I don't think I feel that way. I went on the Be Funny tour with Nate on the bus, and I was tired. I don't want to go back there. It was fun, and I did it for Nate. I did it because I wanted me and Nate to have that time and a memory, but we were going to play golf. We were going to, and that's right when everything blew up, and right in the middle of that Saturday Night Live happened. And Saturday Night Live was, we had no idea the effect it would have. He was just starting to do arenas, but it was like hockey arenas, 3,000 to 4,000, 6,000 at the most. And then right after, then all of a sudden we're doing 2 and 3, and then big arenas, and now 18, 20, and he's setting all these records and for a day and everything in it. And that's all because of everybody saw him on that show. And it got to be where it wasn't that anymore. I wasn't seeing Nate. Every time we went, people are flying in, he's meeting, he's writing. He was doing that movie. He's got a movie out called The Breadwinners coming out. He was writing that. He's doing other things, another 2 movies I can't even talk about. And then plus he's the voice on Waze on your travel that you can do. He was doing that. So he's meeting and doing it. So I'm on the road with him, and I'm not seeing him until right before the show, and maybe dinner afterwards. We all go together. So I just thought, I'm on the road with your friends, and you're in these meetings, and then we see, and I go, I don't want that.
Ooh, I don't need. Is that a tough moment to say?
Yeah, it really, it was for him.
It reminds me like an Andy Griffith show when they go out to L.A. and it doesn't turn out that way, and cue the sad music.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was really sad. It was a good eye-opening for me to think, because you just asked, the question was, would I keep doing this?
Yeah.
And I would have said yes, but then I realized no, I'm not doing that. I did that for Be With Nate, and yes, I would keep doing it. But just to go out to do it, to go back out on the road and leave, no. I like pickleball. I like going to church on Sunday mornings. And
you cut your own grass?
No,
you don't go that far.
I never cut my grass. Mess these hands up? No, that's what I hope you buy that. My wife did for years. And yeah, I don't need it. I don't necessarily need the fame or I don't need the applause like maybe I did when I was younger. But I enjoy it. I love to make people laugh. I still love doing that. That's why the charity is, I'm going to say this and get a million calls for charities, but I enjoy doing it just when I know I'm not really expecting anything back.
Yeah. Little Bird tells me, though, that you are going to play for potentially a larger audience. You're getting ready to film a special?
Yeah, well, this weekend, I don't know when this is coming out, but I don't even know what today is, but I know Thursday I go to New York to Madison Square Gardens. We got 3 shows, me, him, and Jimmy Fallon together. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm very excited because it's really, this one is kind of the last bucket list place that I would ever think about wanting to play. Red Rock, Colorado, best place I think I've ever been, where you feel that. Of course, the Ryman and Opry, unbelievable. But now, at Boston Square Gardens we did, now I'm going to do Madison Square Gardens. It'll be something special. But then in November, my daughter and son gave me for Christmas that they were going to produce a special with me. And Nathan has always talked about it. So they kind of forced his hand to hurry up and let's get dead before he dies or something. I don't know. But so on November the 2nd, we're filming it in Franklin, Tennessee. It'll be, I'm doing what I didn't want to do. We talked about this a little bit because I'm old school, and old school said don't put your act out on TV. And I'm too old to come up with a whole new hour. I'm not Nate. So it's kind of like, this is it. I'm not going to get any better than what you see right here. And it'll be hard to walk away from some of those tricks if I ever do. I don't know.
Banner & Company is a production of the New Nashville Banner. This episode is produced by Steve Haruch and edited by me. The original music is by Verlin Thompson. You can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts or go to NashvilleBanner.com. You're in good company. Actually, the way that we end this podcast is you choose your final question out of the fish bowl. It's not a koi pond, but it is a fish bowl without fish.
It's a 1 in 3 chance.
Yep.
From Shane Caldwell.
What is your favorite bad smell?
I should have picked that other one. What's a favorite bad smell? Mine was, grew up Catholic, but I went to a good friend of mine, Tom Griffin, lost his brother, and I went to an old Catholic funeral. And that incense that they do on the casket, ooh, that brought back memories and stuff. And I remember as an altar boy, I was in trouble all the time. I was not a good kid. I, again, apologize to my mom. And so when I went to Catholic schools, if you were in trouble, you had to be an altar boy. And now you'd have to do it for the nuns. And they had like 6 o'clock mass. And it was about 6 miles from my house, and I had to walk there and go. But those nuns loved me, even though they beat me to death all the time. And I deserved it all, but I knew they loved me and they cared for me because I was there with them all the time. But I remember putting that incense and burning it and doing it. That smell used to kill you. But it was a really good, sweet, bad smell.